Hi guys, Miss Bickel here with your fourth acting lesson. That's right, it's our fourth acting lesson, and this week we're working on character development and creating a character. Okay, so we need to warm up what are those three parts again? Minds, bodies, and our voices. No, I'm not making you sing or do anything like that. It's just character. It's just acting. All right, now let's warm up. This exercise is called Beans. I usually do it with a younger group, but it works for any age. It's called Beans. Well, you'll see why. Now, if you're still sitting down, get up, lazy bum. Come on, it wouldn't hurt you to get up once in a while. There are 6 different types of beans. The first bean is string bean. You put your arms right up to the sky, clasp them together. The next one's called broad bean. Broad bean, nice and wide, broad, arms side to side. The next one's called jelly bean. All right, it's getting weird. Just move your body to look like jelly. So we have string bean, broad bean, and jelly bean. All right, the next one is jumping bean. That one doesn't really need an explanation. Just jump around. Okay, this one is called frozen bean. You just stay still with however you were. Freeze. Freeze! And finally, my favorite bean, French bean. I know not everybody knows French. Sacré bleu! Just keep saying French toast and French fries, that works. I know it's in no way accurate, but it's fun. And that's what theater games are all about, people. Okay, let's try it. You know the beans. String bean. Broad bean. Jelly bean. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention you can't talk. Except for French bean. It's really hard to have fun and be quiet at the same time. I know. Okay, so where were we at? Oh yeah, we were just doing jelly bean. Now, jumping bean. Hey, frozen bean. And now my favorite, French bean. Oh, oui, French toast, French fries. Ha, 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 ha. Oui. Frozen bean. Okay, so you get the idea of the game. Try it on your own. Have someone call the other ones out for you. Bonus points if you can make combinations of the beans, like for instance, jumping jelly bean, or jelly broad bean, jumping French bean. Oh, you could do all of them. You could combine 3 at a time, 4 at a time. I don't care, combine them all, except that's kind of hard to be frozen at the same time as talking. Just have fun. Okay, now let's branch off of the beans game and turn it into an exercise. You can do this too. Think of anything you want, but I'm going to start with animals. So you know how I called out different types of beans? Call out different types of animals. Start with everyone be your favorite animal and try it. Study how those animals move. Later on, when you're really studying how to be a different character, I want you to analyze how those animals move and implement it, ooh, big word, into how your character may act on the stage or even deliver their lines. We'll come back to animals later. We're not going to think of a specific character today, so instead of pinpointing an actual character today, it's just going to be us practicing how to morph yourself into new characters. Practice becoming someone you're not, but make sure it's believable. Let's start with a simple exercise anyone can do. Now, for those that have really short hair, this might be tricky for you, but if you can find some accessories or even different colors, things you can put in your hair that's washable and you can take out safely, you can all join in. Okay, so this is a very basic exercise trying to get you just to be someone you're not. I want you to style your hair in a way that is not how you've ever styled it before, or not a way that you normally style your hair. Ooh, I'm gonna make crazy hair right now. Not necessarily. For instance, if you never wear your hair up, wear your hair up. If you never wear it down, wear it down. Try to style it so it's not you. For me, I chose to do a simple side braid. Now, take your new hairstyle for a walk. I'm being silly, but I mean seriously, take in how your hair is now and try to walk around, sit, have a day of it with your new hair. I find I want to do this a lot. This character likes it as is, likes it on this side, but not moving around too quickly so that way no hairs get out of place. I'm doing this a lot now, I'm seeing. Kind of letting the weight of my hair lead the way. See, very simple exercise. Just try to embrace the new hairstyle and who the new person might be. Okay, that didn't last long. I like when my hair is just free and loose, especially while stuck in my house. Okay, here's another character exercise. And for this one, you need a deck of cards. This will actually come in handy for the next couple exercises. Just a heads up. I want you to shuffle the deck, including the jokers, into the deck. Make sure it's all shuffled. Shuffle in your hands a couple more times. Got it. Now for this one, you're going to be pretending to drink something. That cup, glass, or mug can transform depending on the number you get. Think about different ranks of people. Think about royalty and those completely without, like servants. The cards are basically ranked lower to higher based on the caste system, or in other words, how fancy the person is. I'm going to turn over my first card. Jack. What do you think that means? Jack is really just one step below a queen. Maybe a prince or princess. So I'm going to have my fancy glass. I'm not all the way up to a king, so how would I drink it? Nice posture. Maybe a pinky out. I chose to have a little skinny glass to drink from. Now, how is that different from the absolute highest, a king? Maybe kings don't need to try as hard. From a bigger goblet or something like that. Now, if you come across any of those jokers, that means that you can choose the number. You can decide where they rank. By the way, we're going to make ace the absolute lowest. What's my next card? A 5. Now a 5. So we're not at the bottom. It goes ace, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if we're going by the caste system we created, a 7 is right in the middle. Hang on, I just made my dog go crazy with that whistle. I'll be right back. Okay, so a 7 is right in the middle. So a 5 is just below the middle, a couple notches. What kind of cup would they drink out of? I still think a glass, maybe a water glass. No real fancy hands, no real fancy posture. However, I'm not super slumped over. Maybe some elbows on the table. You create the rules. You create what king looks like and what ace looks like. Now take that deck and try it again. No cups, no drinks, but try it in a chair. What would king look like? What would an ace lowest of the low, peasant servant look like? That was hard to see, but I chose my ace, my servant, peasant person, to be all the way on the floor. Maybe sleeping, maybe begging, maybe in and out of consciousness. You decide. Yes, I said in a chair, but use the space. You can decide to stand up too. The whole point is creating a character. Don't worry so much about the rules. Get creative. Now, this you'll hear a lot in theater from a director. Walk the space. Feel the space. Well, right now, I want you to walk the space. What does that mean exactly? Walk all around in your playing area. Don't go into other rooms. Stay in one spot. Have an imaginary invisible line where you are going to keep as your play space. And while you do that, just walk freely. Don't try to think too much into it. Now, if you're doing this with someone else, you can get that deck of cards, pull out a number, and that's the speed of how fast you walk. For instance, if I said, everybody walk a 7, in no particular way, just walk a 7 speed. I wouldn't call it fast. I wouldn't call it slow. I would say moderate. What if I pulled an ace? How slow can you actually go without staying still? Try it. What about a king? Okay, I don't want to go too fast down here with my socked feet. You either. Be safe. Now take that deck of cards again and try it this time with how high the card is how happy the character is. So if you get a king that is the absolute happiest, most joyful character in the entire world, or at least that moment in time, that character is as happy as possible. Same thing goes for ace, as sad as possible as that character can actually get. Right now we're saying that character is you. How sad can you make yourself? If you actually have a character you're working on, try to do that exercise, but see how actually happy or how actually sad that character can get. That's different than how happy or sad you can get. All right, now we're going to walk the space again, except this time, imagine you have something pulling you everywhere you go. That thing that's pulling you everywhere is your intention. That drive, pulling you around the space. What drives you? What motivates you? I want you to try to think of something that you or any made-up character can actually drive to walk towards. For instance, maybe they're just really excited to get outside. Maybe they're trying to get down their hallway to go to class. Maybe they're urgently moving to give someone a message that we don't know what it is yet. Just walk with a purpose, people. Start walking at about a 7. That 7 speed can look differently compared to someone else's 7 speed. It's your character's speed of 7. Middle ground. All right, increase it, decrease it. Now stop and let's talk. What is your actual intention? Did you really make something up? Think about it. What would make you keep walking no matter how fast or how slow you're going? You're still being driven forward. While talking about that, you don't have to be going forward either. I want you just to propel yourself around the space. Really have intention. Meaning behind why you're moving. That's the problem. Too often people just say lines and they expect them to be applauded. Yay, you said some words correctly and you had dead eyes. Good job. You need to know what's going on up here before you actually move around. We'll get to the up here stuff in just a moment. Think about even a character in a book, a character in a movie, a character in a show. What is their main goal? What is their intention? Why do they move around? Why do they get up in the morning? Okay, so just say you get intention. You're walking around, you have a purpose. I see ya, you're doing great. But maybe let's change up our walk and our posture, depending on the day. Maybe change your accent. Go back and watch my second video if you want some tips on accents. Now, the real fun part is trying to become that character, forgetting who you are, but keeping some of the parts that you're similar with your character. So right now, we don't have anybody specific in mind, no specific script to go off of, but I want you to practice. Does anybody have any really over-the-top relatives? Anybody that they can mimic or impersonate? Maybe even from a show or a movie. But even if you had an actual character from a script, you can take what you know from people in real life and put it to an actual character. I want to take a touch of something I've already seen and apply it to creating somebody that I've never met yet. Now the trick to actually having a character really come to life. I'm talking backstories. A backstory is something that just shows everything from birth or everything we know about that character all the way up to the point in time that we see you on the stage. We use what we actually have on paper to try to figure out what their history is like. Can you imagine someone trying to be you but not actually knowing anything about you? It probably wouldn't be that accurate. So a backstory is just really a simple little story you come up with of their past. Now, if you want a little bit more advanced of a backstory, think of these 8 different questions to answer. First, what is their name? I'm talking first name, maybe middle name, then last name, maybe they have a hyphen in it, maybe they're the third, put it all there. Second one, I want you to worry about place and time. I'm talking birthday and birthplace, and also the time and place of where we're seeing you on the stage. I want to know the year, I want to know at least the season, maybe the specific day if we're lucky. Don't try to make any of this stuff up. You should know the time and place of these things. If you don't know birthday, you can try to guess with how old they are. What is their age? If you're not sure of the actual age, say about 20s, about 15. If you can pinpoint the grade, if you're still in school, you can probably figure out the age. Next, what about their parents? What are their parents like? Are they still around? What is their home life like? Okay, the 5th question I want you to answer is their educational background. Did they go to middle school? Did they go to elementary school? Did they go to high school? Did they go to college? Did they go to graduate school? Did they never go to any sort of schooling at all? What is their educational background? What is their family's educational background? How educated is this person? The 6th question I want you to answer is, what is their job? Or do they have any hireable traits? What really makes them stand out? Especially if they were in an interview. Now, if you have a much younger character, what are some skills that they have? The 7th question I want you to answer is, what are their goals in life? What drives them? What makes them get up in the morning? But also, what is their goal in this part of the play? You may have an overall goal. What do they actually want to accomplish in life? But you can have a smaller goal. In this act or in this play, what do they actually want to accomplish? And finally, question 8, what are some obstacles that they have to overcome to actually achieve their goal? Write it down with a pencil and paper. Pencil so you can erase and change your answers, but actually so you can have it for yourself later. Yeah, you can type it up on the computer or even put it on a note on your phone. It's helpful. So after you've done that, I want you to find any similarities or drastic differences between you and that character. Really focus on the similarities because I want you to pull from that, and I want you to try to put yourself in their shoes, and it's a lot easier to fit in those shoes if they're your size. Are you on the same page as me? Do you understand what I mean by shoes? See what makes you the same. Okay, say you figured all of that out for an actual character, for an actual play you're really trying to do. The next step would be to even finesse that character, find out how they speak, how they stand, how they walk. Do all those exercises that we did to try to move around the space how the character would move. Now, coming back to that thing we talked about at the beginning about animals, try to find an animal that your character can relate to. No, I'm not saying your character will become an ostrich. I'm saying find different qualities from an animal and try to portray it with how you walk, how you move, how you hold yourself. For instance, if you think your character relates to a bird, and you flit around the stage, but you're light as a feather, it works. It may sound simple, but it's a pretty advanced exercise to try to pull from those animal traits and make them human traits. All right, so I always wrap up the lessons with a game. Now, this game is really meant so you can create new characters on the spot. And if we're doing it individually, it's called Man or Woman at a Bus Stop. First, you need a chair, and then we need you to be in that chair. But let me explain the rules first. So this person needs to be real or believable, so I want you to try to create a backstory. You heard me just talking about a backstory. Create one for this person. But it shouldn't take as long. I want you to answer just a few questions for this guy's backstory. Why are you there? Where are you going? What is he doing while he waits and why? How is he doing it? Some good practice for this game is to watch people while they are waiting for the bus at a bus stop. See if they have any mannerisms. Try to figure out their backstory. I want you to try to create your own person right now, though. So if you have anybody else that you can play with, they can come by and they can interact with you. See how that person reacts and interacts with them. Now that takes me to the game where it actually requires more than one person. It is called Park Bench. Very similar concept, and this game is always a favorite whenever I work with improv groups. Same concept, except it's a park bench, so it could be a bus stop. It could be anywhere. That bench could actually be on the moon if you really wanted it to. But let's try to keep it realistic to start, okay? So how you play that game is the first person comes in, sits down, does whatever they need to do, whatever their character would do while they're waiting for someone else to come by. Then the next person will come over, sit next to them. There needs to be 2 chairs, and interact with them how your character would. It can be so funny. You can come up with your own accents, your own characters. You can be as old or as young as you want to. So this can be really fun, but it can go on for a long time. But in order to keep it from going on forever, you need to have a good ending point. The person that was sitting there the longest, in this case the first person, since we didn't do another round yet, they make up a reason to leave. Maybe they have to pee. Maybe they realize they left the oven on. Give them a reason that your character would get up and leave the park bench. And every time you have a new person enter the scene, it needs to be a whole new character. Then that person that was there the longest makes up a reason to get up and leave. I'm going to try to show you how to do this with just me, okay? Oh, my back isn't how it used to be. Oof. And these chairs aren't made how they used to be. Yo, lady, is this seat taken? Sonny, you can sit wherever you like. It's a free country. Oh. Yo, what's up? How you doing, lady? Yeah, I tell you what, it is too cold for this, man. It is cold. It sure is cold. I know, I tell you what. I had to turn my heat on last night. What's going on? It's almost May. It's gonna be May. I'm just waiting for those memes to come by, you know? I can tell we're not gonna have some good conversation, so I'm gonna go take another bus, alright? Lady, you don't know what a meme is? Psh. Ooh, that was kind of tricky, just doing me one way and then going back and doing the other person. That's tricky. So that game can go on forever. Come up with new accents, new characters. I kept it really simple. You don't need to go simple. You can do anything around the chair, using the chair. Remember, there's 2 chairs, but there's only one me. So imagine that there were 2, okay? So everybody, as always, stay safe and keep making people believe. As different characters this time. Peace out, guys.